Hi, I'm Max from Nightshot, and in this video I'm going to show you the main steps involved with replacing the Nerf Rival Perses stock motor with our brushless motor upgrade. Now before we begin, please note that this is not a step-by-step guide, it's just to give you an overview of the process. The main things we want to do externally are cut the shell for the voltage display, the left and right curve shot buttons, the motor speed display, a hole here for quick access to the preset buttons, and either remove this entirely or cut it so that the LED ring can sit flat around the muzzle area here. Now I've switched to this red Perses because it's still stock to show you the wiring as you would find it unaltered. We are going to be removing the rev trigger, the flywheel, and the switch related to the access door entirely. We're going to only cut the orange wire of the pusher motor trigger from somewhere around here, and we're also going to detach the wires from the battery compartment completely. We're not going to use this red wire at all, but we're going to need this brown wire, this short brown wire that's going from the battery to the pusher motor, and connect that to our setup. Now as you can see, I've replaced the rev trigger with this micro switch. It doesn't have any wires connected to it yet, of course, and it's secured in place using this screw. You do need to cut the plastic a bit around here, and also the screw support here and on the other part of the shell, to let the micro switch fit in place. The pusher motor switch, the yellow and the brown wires stay the same, so you don't do anything with these two wires. The orange wire connected to the pusher motor switch was going to the access door switch, which we've cut, and this short brown wire connected the battery to the pusher motor, which we've also separated, and we're going to connect these two to our brushless motor setup. Now I removed this battery compartment because I use bigger batteries and they don't fit in this, but you can remove this section and pass your wires in like that and put this back if you want, but I'll be just doing it like this. I've already unscrewed the main section, so it's just a matter of pulling it out and separating the different parts. Just pull it open like that, take out the muzzle, that's our old system, and put the muzzle back on this. This sort of just, you need to pull just a little bit and it usually snaps in. Put this back in, and you can put this back like that. Okay, then really all that remains is doing up the wiring. Okay, so these are our main electronic components. Normally you would put the driver PCB inside the blaster before you do the connections, but I'm doing them out here so that they're a little bit easier to see. The important thing to note is that there are two main solder points that you need to connect this wiring setup to the blaster. One of them is this brown wire coming from the rev trigger, which connects to the brown wire going to the pusher motor, and another one is the orange wire from this power terminal going to the pusher motor switch. So these two connect to the other two wires that we have on the blaster. The rest of them just connect to themselves. There's only one other solder point that you need to think about, and that's removing the LED ring so that you can pass it through either a hole that you've made here, or by removing that sort of hook thing, so you can pass this through here and then put this back and then solder it on again and then glue it in place. So that's pretty much it. Now we have a schematic of how everything is connected, which is pretty self-explanatory. The important things to note about it are this long wire coming from the rev trigger connects to the top part here of the driver PCB, and the rest of them you pretty much just connect to the power terminals. So that's for our driver. These are the ESCs. Once I connect them, they get a little bit sort of really tight, so it's hard to see them clearly, but I'm just showing it so you get an idea of how they work. The voltage display is connected to the power terminal directly, and in case you're wondering, there are two diodes we've put in this part here on the orange wire that connects to the switch, the pusher motor switch, this one. And the reason we've put these diodes in is because when we use a 3S lithium-ion battery, it gives about 12 volts, which is about 1.5 volts more than the 10.5 stock Perses battery. And what we noticed was that it puts a little bit too much pressure on the gearbox of the pusher motor. So by adding these two diodes, we reduce the voltage going to the pusher motor by about 1 volt. It keeps the same rate of fire. It doesn't increase the rate of fire by using a bigger battery, a higher voltage battery, but it increases the longevity of the gearbox. So everything is connected now, and I think because these are related to the pusher motor, this should work if I just push the rev trigger. You can see that it works outside the blaster as well. Okay, so I have put the micro switch with the wires in place, and we're going to connect the brown wire from the micro switch to the brown wire of the pusher motor, and the orange wire from the power terminal to the orange wire going to the pusher motor switch. And now we can disconnect these. I put a ton of hot glue on this as well, aside from that screw, just to keep it in place. Tuck all the wires in. In case you're wondering, these are two magnets that I use to put the Perses on connect them to another frame that has magnets. I've already put the cage in place, and we just nudge it in. Okay. Now the ESCs and everything are connected. I've put a little bit of plastic with some super glue here to sort of increase the sort of strength of this little bit of plastic inside the Perses. And then the PCB just sits like, goes in it and sits in place like that. And then you use your screwdriver or something to access the presets. These are the up and down buttons for the motors. To change the presets, you need to hold the set button at the same time as pressing one of your presets, and that'll just save it. Now we connect the other part of the shell. We pass this through our left curve button, and once you pass it, you pass your screw through it too. Oops. I'm only just doing this to show you how it sort of goes in. It's all just sort of temporary for now. And then connect the motor speeds, the voltage display, didn't get it. Yep, that's in. This is in. The battery. We do, of course, need to put some insulation on these, but I'm just doing the basics for now. My display, the digit, one of them isn't working, so let's just change the preset to, let's say, 1000. Connect this left curve shot. And then, okay, it's our pusher, holding the left curve. And then let's just put one of these and see if we can fire it through. Nope. There we go. You tuck all the wires in and you just put it in like that. Well, I hope you found the brushless motor installation guide useful. We have another video where I talk about the performance of the brushless motor inside the Perses, and you can check that out too. Thank you for watching.